All right, let's give this a go and see if this is any better. Now, it shows this time that someone is watching. There's at least one viewer, and that's only YouTube and Twitch, I think. Maybe Twitch gives me viewer count. What's going on, Jeremy? Yay, the chat works for YouTube. Hey, Bali's there. All right, so the chat is working. Oh my gosh. Of course, just when you think you've figured it out and you have a system in place, I think Chrome had updated overnight and then didn't restart the browser because when I totally killed Chrome altogether, and then I restarted Chrome and it was like, here's what's new. Thanks a lot. Thanks for nothing. So yes, I am here. Thank you for sticking around and finding the second stream because that was super duper annoying that happened. So I appreciate you guys hanging around with me. Now let's do this real quick. Okay, so last week I had set up the studio to do some like interview stuff, and we didn't have any time yesterday to do any of it. And then today, all the people that are visiting are down in a meeting right now. So sorry to be a super disappointment, but I don't have anybody here. Could have had one of my guys, I guess, but you guys know them, and most of them are sitting in the chat. So, yeah, all good. And unfortunately, I don't have anybody here at the moment. Maybe somebody this afternoon. I don't know. I'll have to see if we can make that happen. So you're just stuck with me. And if that's a major disappointment for you, you don't have to stay. You can go. It's I totally understand. It's the same old, same old, same old. So yes, Jeremy, I see you now. Thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it. Jonathan says, "Yep, YouTube is here." Yes, I'm back. Hey, it's me, Bird Dog John. Do I have that in here? I think I do. Oh no, I have this one.
Here we go.
But not. Did you get? Hopefully you heard that. But I don't have the Mario one. Good morning. What's going on, Brayton? Hey, shout out to Brayton for always making coffee. So Brayton's been busy brewing coffee while our guests are here, and yeah, they've been keeping him on his toes. So good stuff. Good stuff. Hey, why for the short stream today? Okay, well, the reason for the short stream is that we have guests. And so I'm trying to be available. Right now they're in a sales meeting. So the entire U.S. sales market is here in the office yesterday and today. Most of them showed up last night, and then we have kind of some meetings that are going on today. But right now, the sales team was like, hey, it'd be a great chance for us to go downstairs and talk sales stuff that's not super relevant for support and don't need to bug them. So they all went downstairs at like 10 o'clock, and they did not return. So that meeting is likely going to take more than an hour. I was hoping to have somebody here from that team, but it's all good. So I need to shorten this stream, which means that I might get to like interview somebody later. But yeah, it's not going to happen for this show. So I got all the lights kind of back to where they're supposed to be. And you'll see here the playlist is going to play through. You saw the 240 already, but the PF120 is back in its home. And there it is. PF120 is there, but it's hunting for the Zoom, so we should probably fix that, eh? Anyways, we'll do that in a minute. But PF120 is back where it belongs, right there at my side, which is my little right-hand man. So what's going on, Angus? Angus is back too. Hey, appreciate you sticking around. You got on the original one, but it's because I went to YouTube and found that you were here. So I'm here. Can anyone else see this? Yes, LinkedIn is chatting to us. That's great. Hey, Jason. Thanks for stopping by. Are you back? I am back. I think I'm back. What's going on? I think it's Ian. Hey, how's it going? Mr. Harold. Nice to see you. No sound. I have sound here. Oh no. It sounds like you should just crash their meeting. I did my first real world show today with my 5.5 NDI 5 93P200s. Very happy with the performance. So I'm seeing occasional drops in frames in vMix. Interesting. So I've noticed drop frames in vMix, but it's my CPU is overloading, and I don't know why, but it runs at like 90% for like half an hour, and then it'll just quiet right down to 40%. And it's only when I start vMix that it does that. If I turn vmix off, the CPU goes to 5%. But when I turn vmix on, it shoots up to 90% for 30 minutes, and then it quiets down to 40%. I don't understand what is going on, but all of the other services and stuff that are using CPU are actually being transferred to a GPU that I have that's doing a lot of those processes instead, that it's connected inside one of those Sonnet boxes that I have. And so the CPU is reserved mostly, obviously not exclusively, but mostly for vmix. And vmix chews up. Right now I'm at 90%, and you can see frame drops on these cameras. But when it drops then down to 40%, it's all good. And maybe it's just because I've got too many cameras connected to vmix that it's just way too much. So the way we can test that is I can change, like if I change this one here to low bandwidth, and I'll change the PF120 to low bandwidth, now we're down, now we're humming at 50%. So that's a very interesting. And do we have any drop frames? No, that's like pretty smooth, you know? It's smooth in vmix. I don't know if it's translating very well over to StreamYard, but yeah, I find vmix to be the thing that gives me the drop frames, not my network or the cameras. When I'm running in just full on, like this is a proxy stream, which you can clearly see. You can see how undefined it is. It's a great shot. And maybe let's just see if I go to 1. I like this PF120. That's why I put it back where it's supposed to be, because I really like this shot. And it looks like I need to change this over to manual. Manual focus, which is currently not in manual focus. So let me change and then dial this in a bit. What's going on here? Oh, give me a second. So the CPU, though, is back to 70, 80%, somewhere in there. And that seems a little high, does it not? Seems so high. Is that high? Seems so high. What? Man, I'm so confused with the way that we control. The way that we control focus, especially. So it's definitely focusing on my screen. It's seeing this section of the screen right here, and that's crystal clear. And then if I switch it to manual, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. All right, let's move the camera and switch it to auto and see if it will adjust there. Oh, I'm moving the P200. Dang it. Welcome to Novice Hour, everybody. Jeez. It's been a day. It has been a day, my friends. I'm so sorry. Hey, let me get this squared away, and then you don't have to watch me with these shenanigans anymore. Good golly. What a disaster that was. It would help if you select the right camera, John. Seriously. What a joke. What a shyster. Oh, so much better. Check this out. Look at that. Looking good. Looking good, Knutson. What a disaster. Jeez. All right. So sorry. I'm a little flustered after that little mishap. But we'll get it straightened out after all. Maybe I just need to slow it down a little bit, eh? And I'll back this off to where it's supposed to be. That P200. And that's pretty much dialed in. So I think I can live with that. Now I had Dan is here, Dan Mile, and a guy named Jamie Ambrose. They're part of the executive team, and he came in here and had a presentation to do. So he used the studio for that, but he had some preferences with the lens, so he had changed some stuff around. So I had been spending that time. I had spent about the 20 minutes before the show started tweaking that image so that it matched the rest of the cameras in the studio. but he's he had it set up correctly for what he was doing for his meeting. So it, I'm not all I didn't have my routine down this morning. Trying to make excuses for why I'm blushing. Hey, I have sound good, Jeremy. I'm glad you can hear me. It's not enough to notice, but they were showing up in the performance stats. It was showing single digit CPU usage. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. What about the CPU on the camera? Was it peaking for some reason? Because that would be valuable information. On the dashboard, if you just watch it, you could tell me at least generally if it was if the camera itself was the CPU on the camera was maxing out, maybe causing frame drops. Separate NICs for the NDI and internet. I love the way that you make sure to specify, because that's my next question. Yeah, like now I'm humming at 65% right now, but the 240, which is this shot, is not in full bandwidth. So I don't know what to think about that. Only one SDI input active, 2 NDI. There are 3 reasons a frame gets dropped in vMix. The camera side is only one of them. It's true. Sounds like Angus had double checked though on the vMix side. P200s are set to TCP. After the show, I switched them to RUDP. We're doing another show tomorrow, so we'll see how that performs. I have found on the 9.3 firmware that RUDP does seem to be smoother if you're experiencing like a high CPU usage or issues that way. Our RUDP does seem to quiet things down a fair bit. I can't for certain today say it's perfect, but I don't know. But yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled for that, because obviously that's something that we deal with quite often here at the support desk. So there's also frame too early, frames too late, etc. Yeah, arriving out of sequence. Yep, looking just fine here. Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, even if it wasn't intended to be. I tried to do the update for the P400 with 9.3 today. It won't load the MICU. Camera's not working. I've contacted support. Good. That's the first thing you should do. Did you leave the USB in when it did the initial reboot? I believe that there are actually 2 MICUs that it's doing. And so if you I don't know. I need to look in the manual to see exactly what's published, because there's some definitely we need to be a little bit more precise with this update, I think. But yes, contact support. They'll walk you through what's going on, so they'll probably be able to help. Oops, fab, John, just fab. Appreciate it. I'm really surprised that so many of you are still here. After I promised on Tuesday that I'd probably have somebody on, and then nobody's here. You're actually still chatting with me. That's I'm so sorry, but I'm very impressed with you. Thank you for sticking around. Don't you have a macro setup that just sets everything back to X settings? I should, but I shan't. I don't. No, I do not currently. All of my cameras are individually set, and then of course. Sometimes lighting changes. Like I've got different soft boxes. I've got things kind of revolving, and so that's cool. I've got less light in here than I did yesterday and on Tuesday's show. So, yeah, the cameras are perform. I think they perform pretty well. What do you guys think of the 200 image? Oh, this is the 240. Don't critique that one, because that one's in low bandwidth. But and I'm running at 75% on low bandwidth on one of my 3 sources. Oh, I guess I've got 4 sources plus a desktop, which is NDI. So it's like a desktop scan. Anyways, this is the one that I was editing before the show. So if you have an opinion, let me know. I didn't check that, but I'll look. Good. Yeah, check that CPU on those cameras and let me know if they're peaking out. If they are, that's an interesting problem. But you'll also that'll give us something to go on if that is what's actually happening. Is that even possible? A preset with camera settings would do it, right? So you could save the preset on the camera with all the exposure and everything settings, selecting the preset camera option, and then that should recall all of your coloration stuff that you have. I need to find out specifically if there's anything that's not saved on that option. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. Both of my cameras are doing it on A2 and A5. Yeah, I mean, those are pretty much they're the same cameras, they're different manufacturing runs, but so I would check that CPU because the CPU on the camera or the NIC card. I mean, maybe it's having issues, but I doubt it, but more likely the CPU is maxing out and causing a drop frame. But let us know. Let us know what you find out. And change it to RUDP and see how that behaves, because that would be really helpful. And make sure the correct GPU is set in the vMix settings. So I'm not using the GPU in vMix because it doesn't like the GPU I have. So what I've done is I've just moved all other computing processes over to the GPU, which is using like 10%, which reserves the entire CPU, for the most part, in theory, for vMix. But when I turn vMix on in the morning and I sit down and I fire up the cameras, and when I'm running videos, it hums along at 50%. But when I start using cameras and start switching and whatever, for quite a while, like we're 20 minutes into it here, and well, let's say 16 minutes since I had a little mishap before. We're into this show and it's still humming at 75%. And I've only, I've had to lower one of my resolutions to low bandwidth in vMix just to kind of keep that CPU at somewhere around there. So who knows? Yeah, that machine has been absolutely rock solid for about 2 years with very few issues. Also unrelated, my pod is still a long way off, but I impulse ordered a Play, and it's on the truck out for delivery. Awesome. Hey, here's a little bird dog insider tip. Be really careful with the Ethernet port on the Play. We're finding that people are aggressively removing the jacks from the units, and it's snapping the plastic frame of the Play. Like, I guess it's not a stress test that we thought we would have to do, but people are like yanking on the Ethernet jacks, and it's causing the jack to break. So, like, push the tab down and pull the jack out. You'll be fine. Like, normal people doing networking things. But if you yank on it, yeah, it's going to break. And then you're going to send an email off to the support desk, and we're going to be like, yeah, we've seen this before. We're just fans of you. Oh, Jeremy, here's to you, buddy. I appreciate you so much. Cheers. So with friends in the office, they come bearing gifts. The first shout out goes to my buddy CJ, who, when we were at NAB, I don't know why I got so sick. At NAB, he and I found out that we both really liked nerds, but in the vending machine they had like these nerd like gummy candies, and so there's like a chewy candy with nerds like stuck on it. It looks like they took like Sour Patch Kids or something, like rolled them up and like licked them and put them in nerds and gathered them up and like put them in a bag. That's really what it looks like. So he rolled up and handed that to me, and he's like, "Hey man, I know you'll enjoy these." And yeah, that really made me feel like somebody was being thoughtful. And so shout out to him. Really appreciate that. Thanks, CJ. Really, means a lot. But then our buddy Monty, he's everybody's buddy, but he rolls up and he takes out of his backpack a thing of coffee, which is amazing. And so the Tortuga del Fuego, anyway, from New Mexico, that's where he's from. And so he handed this to me, and I directly handed it to my Snacks on Stream manager and said, "Here we go, let's roll." And so the pot of coffee was done. The first pot of coffee was empty. And so Brayton got that fired up, and it is amazing. It is great. Probably some of the best coffee we've ever made in this office. So thank you, Monty. And then from the Southwest Popcorn and Candy Company, he also handed me, 4 bags, but these two, red chili caramel popcorn and green chili caramel popcorn. And so today for Snacks on Stream, we will participate in sampling some popcorn from the Southwest. So I'm really excited about that. I'm, of course, a spicy guy. So we're gonna enjoy that. And there's 2 more bags out in the lobby, so I don't know if the guys out there are gonna try it, but I'm gonna do that here on the show momentarily. So yeah, hang around. Also, my Stream Deck has decided not to work. At least the vMix buttons are not working. Oh well, whatevs. So we have our friends are in the office, and some of them brought me some treats, and I really appreciate that. So special thanks to CJ and Monty for that. We're all just here for a nice chat. Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'm glad you're here. What's going on, GoWeb? Greetings from India. Hopefully you and Sanaya are doing well. It looks good. Obviously, a fair bit of light because it's nice and clean. Fantastic. Some of us are here for you, John, but not because you happen to know people. Yeah, this is very flattering. Thank you. Now I'm blushing for other reasons. Dominic, I see you. What's going on, Dom? How are you? Been a long time, man. I think. Well, I know I met you in 2019. Did I see? Yeah, I saw you at NAB last year. Good to see you, Dom. First thing that I do after setting up my camera on each show is to resave preset 1. Boom. Attaboy. Always have a place to go home, right? Set up your base level and then start from there. Good practice, Angus. The 10 gig NIC connected to an M4250 over a very short cable, so I'll do my next show on RUDP. vMix does not like to run without a GPU. Seriously. And I have another Sonnet box. The problem is I have 2 of the same GPUs. And, GPUs are so easy to come by these days. I mean, granted, a lot easier than it was 2 years ago, but still, I already have 2 GPUs. Unfortunately, vMix was like, oh, yeah, we work really well on GPUs, except the one you have. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I built my first vMix machine. I did exactly 1 show before I added a GPU. Well, I think making a bad scenario a little bit better was I at least added the GPU to the computer and I offloaded all of the other processes onto it. So it does run and is doing work. Let me see here. I've got 7 programs running on. It's a Quadro RTX 4000, and it's a nice GPU. It just isn't really supported by anybody, so which is a real shame. So you're saying the Play needs an EtherCon jack? Ooh, that'd be cool. I like that. I like that. Hey, quick question on the Play. Is it able to scale a video to a format that a monitor requires? For example, 2997 video on a computer monitor that doesn't like anything but 60p. I don't know. I've heard something. I need to check that because I have actually a monitor in this office. Oh, that's interesting. If it's out for delivery, I'd be interested to know your results. But I think mine is doing that, actually. The Samsung monitor I have in here is a 720p 5994, I think. But my output is not that. My output is 1080. Interesting. Yeah, if you have a chance to check that out, let me know. I'm excited for you that that's out. Those nerd clusters are the best. See, Pandorica understands. And yes, they are. Like, once I open the bag, I'm not going to stop. Like, the serving size on the back of the thing just needs to be 1 bag because there's no way you can, like, have a couple as a treat. It just doesn't work that way. I wish you had EtherCon connectors on all your devices. That could be like a Gen 2 premium feature, like the Pro model of something. Oh, Monty, this coffee. Something else, man. Really good. Really good coffee. And it's just black. I'm just drinking it black today. But the show is not brought to you by Ember Mugs. Keep your coffee hot and your creamer curdled. Hey, everyone. What's going on? Shodan TV. Pretty sure I butchered that. Gummy nerds are so good, especially the nerd ropes. You're not lying. I mean, I will eat nerds in any form, any reasonable candy form. But yeah, CJ and I found this this kindled love for these nerd candies, and we basically bought out the vending machine when we were in Vegas. I have no idea how I got so sick, but there you go. Finally realized that this was on YouTube. Boom! What's going on, Guitar Guts? How are you? It's Dom. Oh, from WPS, by the way, in case you didn't know. No, I don't know your YouTube handle, so thank you. But Eamon knows it. Fantastic. Well, Dom, it's good to see you, man. Hopefully you're doing well over at WPS. Our friends at WPS always working really hard. That's for sure. trying to make everyone's dreams come true, right, Dom? That looks amazing. It is amazing. The coffee is something else. My Stream Deck experience is very poor. So it's only the vMix buttons because
Good news, everyone!
the soundbite stuff is working just fine. Just fine. So it's just the vMix hotkeys that seem to be not mapping correctly. And I think it's because the Stream Deck loaded after vMix loaded. So, whatever. I'm good. I just jumped the shark on YouTube. Oh, good. Good to see you, man. I like toast. Hey, what GPU is it? The issue with Sonnet boxes is that Thunderbolt doesn't offer enough PCIe lanes. Yeah. It's a Quadro RTX 4000. And it's a great little GPU, but doesn't play nicely with the vMix rig, apparently. So if you Google it, they say, yep, it's one of the ones that's not supported. Fantastic. I love the Stream Deck. I got three XLs for my streaming machine. Whoa, that is a lot of buttons. Well done. I would love to get the XL, but I already have the tiny one, and then I have this one. This one's mine. The tiny one is Bird Dog's, which Senseless has right now. Excuse me. And then that giant one, I might get that for another rig that I'm going to be working on here soon. So we'll see. But yes, that thing is pretty cool. Whoops. Everything needs an EtherCon jack. Agreed. EtherCon is my favorite. Love it. I'll try it out if it ever gets here before I have to go haul equipment around. Yeah, good luck with that. Let me know. And at least join us on Tuesday. I would love to hear more about that. MX rules. Are you using multicast? 3 copies of TCP. If you're using multicast, then there's only 1 copy on the network, so the delay would be Discover dependent. But if not, then each copy of the stream is being sent at a different time to begin with. See, this is why NetHab gets free admission to this show, because he drops doozies like that, and he's absolutely right. All good here. Rock the bird. Yeah, boy. Love it. Thank you, Dom. I mean, I know you love Eamon and Dan, so but we appreciate it, man. Always appreciate hanging out with you. So we tested both. The multicast was more in sync. Did I miss what MX said? Oh, here. Sorry, man. I'm using 3 plays and select the same source. The 3 are not in sync. They had each a little bit different delay. I mean, honestly, it could be a bunch of things. But we'll come back to that in a second. Sanaya is busy studying for her school assessments. She's just come by and says hello. Hi, Sanaya. Hopefully you're doing well. Good luck on your schoolwork. Steady on over there. With vMix, all devices have to be ready when you start. See, I assume so. And what I should have done, actually, the lesson that I've learned with vMix is restart your machine before you run a show. Because if you leave it on and then you come back to it a couple days later, yeah. I turned this one on yesterday, and Mr. Mile was using it for a presentation, and then I forgot to turn it off last night, so I rolled in today with 20 minutes to go and was like, oh, that camera needs to be adjusted, and I started working on it and didn't restart. And then we saw what happened, right? StreamYard wasn't working right. vMix isn't working. My buttons aren't working. Still not working. Anyway.
I needed that.
I really appreciate you guys jumping in and helping me out with my vMix questions because I'm using it quite a bit, actually. I'm using this to do recording, but I'm also using it to obviously produce this show. And, so, I use it to support if I got to remote in and do live video support for some reason. All right, so now I hate the fact that this is low bandwidth. It's really very fuzzy. So that's a fair bit better. It's also very, it's pretty high in the detail. So if you notice, like it's not just the 4K sensor, but I think it's needs to be dialed back because it looks like it's like over processing the image. So let's fix that too while we're here. This is the P240. Oops. No. Try that again. Also doesn't help if you spell it wrong. You're definitely not going to get to the website if you do that. All right, let's dial that back just a smidge. I know everybody really likes to see every pore on my face, so we'll pull back on the reins a little bit there. That I don't care for so much. But you can really turn up the crunchiness if you want to. Yeah. Detail level 7. That's a little high. A wee bit high for me. If we go to 4, I think that looks better. Where are we here? There we go. Let's just have another little look-see. Like if you really crank it up, right? Look at that. Ugh. Every wrinkle. Look, I smile. Look at that. Look at those wrinkles. That looks a little more easy to look at. Need to soften the image a bit just to make sure it's palatable. Alrighty. Thanks, Nightbot. Hey, I need a quick tip. I have an M4250 at a distance and have 3 bird dog cameras at the other end. Is there a way that I can run one Ethernet cable between both ends, adding a switch at the camera end? Okay, let me map this out a little bit. So you have a 4250 and you have 3 cameras. What do you mean by at the other end? Plugged into the 4250 or plugged into something else? Yeah. So yeah, the blue. I mean, there's literally there's a blue light right there. So it's this shot. I'm assuming is what you're referring to. This one. So yeah, there's a hair light here, like literally barn doors right there. But then yeah, I have a blue shadow on one side, mostly because there is an LED blue light, which I could turn down. I mean, that's probably just what it is. It's probably too intense, but let me see if I can find that one real quick. Maybe one of these. Who knows though, right? This one? Nope. Not that one. This one? Nope, not that one. Gotta be this one. Oh boy. Okay. So here's something that's annoying. I bought these lights and they're like, all you gotta do is control them with the little app. And I was like, okay, cool. And then is this one? This one. Okay. So let's just turn that brightness down a little bit. Oh, that's way too much. I mean, it's kind of okay, I guess. Oh man, now I'm like seeing dots because I looked right at it. Oh, maybe it was running at 100%. It's supposed to be at 50%. So maybe it was just running. It like booted up and it was too hot. Like this shot, right? So you can see the LED in that shot. Anyway, interesting. So yeah, so there is a big distance, and I don't want to run 3 cables, but 1. So why wouldn't you run 1 cable the distance and plug your 4250 in over there near the cameras, and then plug the 3 cameras in on a short run, and then just do the long run to the computer. Because the computer has a more of a dedicated power source than the cameras will for that sort of usage. So is it possible to put the switch over there near the camera so you can have shorter runs? Nope, that's side profile shot. Oh, the 4250 one. Or I'm sorry, the PF 120 shot, which is the one right here. So I want the cables to go to a switch near the cameras and run a long single cable from that switch to the 4250. Well, really without home runs, you could do like a trunk back to a secondary switch, but if you don't have 2 4250s, then it kind of defeats that purpose, right? So, yeah, you could, it's hard to say. There's not really an easy answer here, because then we're going to get into the realm of using switches that are generally going to underperform. One of the topics that have been ongoing here with the sales guys but with engineering as well for quite a while is network chatter about like how do we talk about how NDI works and how it should work and preferred way of doing it, whatever. So this is a very, very current conversation happening. But my from a networking side, my preferred usage would be to either run home runs to the 4250, especially if it's a tank of a thing, but obviously keeping it within the limitations and restrictions of the gauge cable that you're using, which is generally 100 meters. So if you're outside of 100 meters, then the only real way that I could the only real way that I would suggest doing it is taking the switch and putting it close to the cameras and then running a single line back to the computer itself. And then you only run one long line, but then the 4250 is over there and it's managing things. That's really, from what I'm understanding, that's really the only way to map it out. Crispy. Because that's what you want. Speaking of crispy, we gotta do this because time is getting away from me. And so let's run that bumper real quick, and then we'll get back and talk about more NDI stuff.
John's just making up stuff to start drama.
Look, I don't know.
Look at him.
Wish me luck, folks. It's my first Vegemite experience.
Final, this is like cheese flavor or something. It doesn't really look too appetizing.
Good golly, this is something else, man.
Here's the thing about Pop Rocks, and I don't know if I'm the only one like this. Pop Rocks have always been a social experience for me.
I did not think that is what you were going to say. That's hilarious.
That is awful. Oh, God, that's so bad. Jeez. Holy smokes, man.
Oh, good times, everybody. Good times in Melbourne at 1:30 in the morning. What a memory. That's good times right there. So, welcome back, Snacks on Stream. Let's do this. My friend Monty has purchased and brought from New Mexico, I'm assuming, Southwest Popcorn and Candy Company's Red Chili Caramel Popcorn. So, pretty excited about that. We're going to give the red chili a try, and then, I don't know, should I save the green chili for next week, or eat it now? I don't know. We'll see how spicy this one is. Matter of fact, Red Chili Caramel Popcorn, Hatch, New Mexico, Red Chili meets our classic caramel popcorn to create an out-of-this-world popcorn treat. From Aztec to Roswell, this rockin' treat will bring some spice to your life. Giddy up, as my friend Kramer would say. Ooh, that's good. I like that. I like that smell. All right. So, let me jump over here real quick. Hopefully this doesn't like burn my eyes. All right, so it is caramel popcorn, but it is red as could be. Oh, that's strange that the camera needs to be white balanced apparently. These are red, not brown as they appear on camera. So, that's a very interesting. That's a very interesting image. Maybe if I switch here, is it red here? Yeah, that's more true to what they are. And if I go over to this shot, let's see if, whoops, I got to get some light on there. Yeah. So they kind of resemble almost like the orange or the red that you would find on like a buffalo wing or something like that. So I don't know. Here we go. Give it a try. All right. So the suggestions for Mr. GoWeb. Oh, man. All right. So it's not like knock 'em dead powerful, but that chili powder is there. For that reason alone, I could see a second 4250 in my future. I'm a big fan of 4250s. Buy a second 4250, one local to the camera, a fiber 10 gig back, and a second switch link up. Dominic knows what's up, man. This guy. Yeah. 4250. Yeah, Dominic knows. That's the deal right there. And a variety of SFPs and fiber cables. 2 M4250s will do it. Yeah, well, I mean, if you have the option, absolutely. Because you can use those fiber ports and you can trunk them together so you can at least get 2 gigs on a backbone between the computer and the cameras, which is way more than you're going to need for 3 cameras, but it'll provide some redundancy. And then, yeah, you can hook up the cameras on one side and then have computers on the other. You can even make it the same VLAN on both sides so the other ports can do other things. Dude, it's a beautiful thing when you get that stuff working. Seriously. Love it. Yes, 242 M4250s would do it. I have an edge switch by the cameras and then a fiber and a Cat 6 home run. Boom. Also a good idea. If you're an edge switch type of guy, go for it. I'm experimented a bit with the linking my 4250s to a 48 port Netgear switch over fiber. It seemed to work pushing my 200s over a single 1 gig fiber link. Haven't stress tested though. Yeah, that would do it. One of the bottlenecks. This popcorn is really good. I'm gonna give you my full review in a second. One of the things you got to be careful with is the SFP modules that you choose to use, because some of them overheat and some of them, when they overheat, start dropping packets. And so there's not a whole lot of time, obviously, for resends and re-requests. So just be sure that you buy a halfway decent SFP module. And if you have the nicer 4250s and you have the option to go with SFP Plus, then definitely do that. Then also, of course, be careful about the grade and the level of fiber cables that you buy. But you can buy those in predetermined lengths. So you can get one that's relatively close to what you're going to need. And, yeah, plug it in and off you go. We used this configuration for NAB last year, and it was great. I loved it. I'm sure it was overkill and complicated for anybody that I tried to explain it to, but it was great, and it worked really well. It gave me the leverage as well to prove that when we were having issues with things, it wasn't my network. So we were able to solve that. It also helps to have the lead engineers like sitting right there with you. So yeah, it's good stuff. I agree. If there's only one device, i.e. the computer, that's far away, keep the switch near the cameras and use a single long run for the cable. If really long, you could use an optical con fiber cable into an SFP of that 4250. It's true. That popcorn sounds really tasty. Okay, so here's the review. Popcorn's really good. It's quite sweet, obviously for caramel popcorn. However, the chili flavor is that smell you get when you open the spice cabinet and open the chili container and just take a direct sniff of it. It almost has like a kind of like, well, maybe not. Very good. And it is straight up chili powder, along with a fair bit of caramel seasoning. So highly recommend if you ever come across the Southwest Popcorn and Candy Company and you're wanting to try something new and slightly spicy. This isn't a spicy Korean ramen noodle endeavor, but there's a slow burn in the back of my throat. So well done, Monty. Really appreciate it, man. Really good. Red chili in the left cheek, right chili in the right. Oh, green chili in the right. Maybe. I feel like I would do that if I'm ready to mix it up and start like experimenting with flavors. But I guess you can. Oh no, that's the back of my head. Sorry. I guess you can push the heck out of it. We've had 10 cameras on a 4250 in full bandwidth and out a 10 gig SFP plus to 2 M4250 AVs and 10 gigs to a TriCaster Elite TC2, and all were perfect. Oh man, Dom, anytime you run into that stuff, take a quick video. I would love to see that setup. That sounds sweet. The grocery store roast hatch chilies in the fall, and now instead of apples, that's what fall smells like to me. Oh, interesting. See, here in Michigan, it's a big orchard country. Until there's apple orchards and farms, and mostly like it's an excuse to eat sugar donuts. Donuts covered in cinnamon sugar. That's really what it's for. Just nobody says it out loud. But it's interesting that chili peppers is what fall smells like to you. I'm using 3 flex outs and a Play, which feeds my ATEM switcher at the other end. Play is bringing PowerPoint to laptop connected to the Flex. Right on. That's cool. 10 gigs between two 4250s. So at NAB, I was running 2 trunked ports over SFP plus. So I was doing 20 gig backbone to every table. And it was all coming back to a fiber switch that was also SFP plus. So it was a 16 port straight fiber switch. And that's what was governing the network. So that was running the DHCP, the VLANs, all the separation stuff. So I just configured it once there, how I wanted it, all the DHCP settings. And then on each of the desks, I just said, you are VLAN this. And then they just handed out the correct addresses once they were connected to the fiber core. So it's really cool. Really simple. And I had 20 gigs to almost every table. One of the cables got cut by the setup crew, but that's why we run backups. Beautiful. Unfortunately, neither of my 4250s or my non-4250 business have a 10 gig option. Seriously, just getting it to fiber 1 or 2 gig, if you can lag it or truncate, it's great. Yeah, that coffee is beautiful. Though I guess that with lag, I can run 2 1 gig fibers. Exactly. That's exactly right. Well, that's a big problem. You're going to crash a 1 gig network. Yep. Yeah, just if you're limited to 1 gig, you're probably going to max it out. But if you can get them together, giddy up. So I have 3 full NDIs over a 1 gig fiber link. No problems. We have 2 to 3 edge switches with fiber, Cat 6 home runs, depending on distance. Then an aggregate switch close to the streaming machine. Right on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is interesting. I actually talked about this today with some of the guys in the office, and I just said, look, like networks, there are general practices of like how you set up a network, but really, and I've said this on the show, really, networks are set up by individuals, and they all have their own preferences and thoughts about how it should go together. And so networks can get kind of unique, and when you make a product that sits on the network, it's hard to tell people it should just work, but then blame their network when it doesn't work, because you're not giving them any guidelines as to how you should set it up. And then come to find out, another dimension of this conversation is people get pretty upset when you tell them how to set up their network. So it's like, well, you can't win. You can't make a product and say it just works, because then, and tell them nothing, but then they get upset if you do tell them something. So you can't win either way. Luckily, I don't, excuse me. Luckily, I don't have a pile of NDI sources running at any one time. That's kind of my situation too, where we have like probably a dozen NDI sources at any given time on this network here in the office, but we're never using all of them at once. We're usually using one or two, or 10 gig back. That's right there. Now I know this is dumb. It's good to have you here, Dom. Thanks for stopping by, man. No doubt. Next upgrade, giddy up. That's great. Put it on the Amazon wish list, right? Yes. Oh, geez. Separate those VLANs out because, well, again, Dominic, you would appreciate this idea though. It's like you can tell people you can bring the horse to water, right? But you can't tell them what to do. So what you really need is a guy like Dominic or a guy like Jake Feynman, like Bird Dog Jake, who are just genuinely excited about getting you up and running and like showing you how awesome and cool things are. That they're like, no, do it this way, and they help you understand why it's so exciting. Instead of taking it the other approach where it's like us, where we have to, no, you probably don't want to use that $10 switch that you got on sale at Best Buy. Probably not what you want to run your NDI network on. But, anyways, no more of that. So I think I'll reach out to Netgear AV support. Ooh, I can help you there. Reach out to them at proavdesign@netgear.com. That's proavdesign@netgear.com. Those guys are awesome over there. Whoops. So I think I'll reach out to Netgear AV support to check if I'm okay to do this with my non-M4250 switch, or if I should just hold off and get a second one. I mean, always hold off and get a second one. But you might be able to get away with the non one. I don't know. What is it, a 4300 or what? Burn, baby, burn. Yes, it is actually still very present. So, and drinking hot coffee also doesn't help. We have learned on Snacks on Stream, if nothing else, that drinking hot coffee after you eat something spicy is the wrong remedy for anything. So, yes, if you didn't learn anything today, you learned that. I had almost 40 minutes free consultation with Pro AV Netgear tech person to discuss which 4250 switch and the setup needed for the future of next year's. They are highly helpful. MTash has confirmed what I already know. Here, wait, I'll cut to this camera. MTash has confirmed what I already know to be true. Those guys at Netgear, they're the best. So reach out to them if you have any need. They're really good at what they do, and they want your NDI stuff to work. I promise you, just like us, if you contact us, we're going to try really hard to figure out how to get this thing to work in whatever it is that you're up to. So I'm all in NDI. This year, building out an audio side to be NDI as well. Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting. Tell me how you're gonna do that. Now what you need is some Rudy's barbecue. Dude. You don't understand my love affair with Rudy's. You really don't. I have great memories of that place, but I only go to Texas like once in a blue moon, and that's where I run into Rudy's. So, yes, Dom, what I need is Rudy's barbecue sauce in a bottle from San Antonio. I 100% agree with you with this assessment. My P200 has been running 100% NDI since I bought the M4250, and it's been great. Boom. Cinnamon donuts, yes. Yeah, welcome to Michigan. That's like that starts in, late August, everybody, and goes until Christmas. The fall. It's our excuse. So you have to try both the flavors together. Well, I haven't opened this one yet. I don't know if I necessarily want to get that one open. But if there is some left, so I'll try the green one maybe on Tuesday. And if there's some left of the red one, then I'll have both together. Let's do that. Yes, the fiber switch is golden. Man, I so badly want to get my hands on that thing, like have it here in the office. It is so stinking awesome. Rudy's is the best. It's my favorite when I lived in Austin. There you go. Yes, I have been to Rudy's a few times with some friends long ago, and then I went down to Texas to see. Well, I went down to Texas for a conference, but really I was going down there to see my sister, and so we went to Rudy's when I was down in Abilene, I think. Yeah, I was down in Abilene. It's really good. So a newbie will be happy to see the linking to M4250s, a video or demo someday. It's honestly not difficult at all. Turn on auto lagging on your core, on whatever switch you're using as like your backbone or your go-to. Turn on auto lag and auto trunking, and then connect the ports to. It'll auto detect if the switch is plugged into another 4250 switch. If you do 2 connections to that switch, it'll auto detect that that's what's going on, and will bridge them together. It's really well thought out in terms of it's hard to screw it up. I've seen it done, but it's hard to screw it up. Armored fiber is also awesome. Yeah, now we're just talking about the toys in the networking world. Yes, I agree. Armored fiber is the jam. Gary, how's it going, Gary? Good to see you. Netgear 4250 switches are #1 NDI tech support solution. And if you're looking to buy something, you need to check out Video Guys. They are going to help you out. So Gary Batan of the Batan Brothers, also legendary, known for the Broadfield distribution company. He probably coming from New York. Are you, Gary? But these guys sell Bird Dog stuff, and they carry the 4250 line. So they have Video Guys has like a tech overview video of the 4250, I believe. Thought I saw that get published. And then, of course, they review Bird Dog stuff. So they have interviews with Dan, and they have interviews with a guy named Glenn, who's kind of my go-to guy over at Broadfield. And yeah, that team knows their NDI and M4250 business. So check them out. Good place. Broadfield Distributing or Video Guys, and they can give you a hand. They need Jason Lapp, the NDI. Yes. So I've heard. I need to have a little interaction with that guy. To get my circle of influence widened out a bit, eh? Hey, that was handy. I already had my email tab opened up when you put up that email. Well, you're welcome. We try to at least be somewhat useful on this channel. I'll have to go and look. It's older, a non-PoE, but it does seem to pass NDI relatively smoothly. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know which one it is. The other one that's supported for NDI is 4300. But those ones were more like, if I understand it correctly, maybe Dom, you can help me with this, is that they're more business related. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was the previous AV line. I just don't have a lot of exposure to the 4300s, but the 4250s, that's they're making a market for those. You need a glass of milk or a spoonful of sugar. Flip that upside down on your tongue. Bam, the fire will be gone. Yeah, so I have done spicy Korean ramen like soup, or well, I make it just like noodles. And we did like the 1-time spicy and the 2-time spicy, and then all of the flavors that are offered by I think it's like Boldak or something like that. I can't remember the precise company, but I'm sure maybe that's just probably like a flavor or brand or something. Anyway, so yeah, we experimented on things that would kill the burn because when we started with 1-time spicy, and then the next show I did 2-time spicy, and that's what some of those snacks on stream snippets are from, is me dying while eating that. And so we also have a couple of others that I'll probably end up having to try next week. Somebody brought me like a cup of soup version. I think it's Balu, but it's ghost pepper. So I'm game. I want to try it. I was going to force somebody on this show to eat it, but we all know how that worked out today. I really appreciate that. Netgear seems to be very Bird Dog-like in their approachability. Yeah, and you know, they're interesting because they're kind of behaving a little bit like Bird Dog, where they're doing something that no one else is really doing. Like, we're in the full NDI game primarily right now, although that's not necessarily where the entire NDI market is. That's kind of something that we're focused on. Netgear came out with the 4250s, and they were already doing some AV stuff, but then when they added the NDI 4 and 5 profiles, that was what the industry really needed. They needed the buy this switch, click this button, now you're up and running. You know? And no, it's so weird to me that maybe the data isn't there to support the R&D that's required to do something like that, and so Netgear is the only one that's done it. But I find it extremely odd that no one else is doing the AV stuff at that level with video over IP in general. Like, it just seems like Netgear has the whole market right now. And the fact that they're so approachable, makes them the clear winner. So drizzle that Rudy sauce on popcorn. Let's go. Let's go. Anytime we want to, Dom, it sounds like we need to have you in the office for a visit. Anytime in Michigan, come on through, bud. Hey, bring guests from Netgear on the show sometime. Yeah, John Hinkle, I've interviewed him. I've interviewed him at NAB last year, and we had talked about doing something outside of, obviously, that show, so I'll probably need to reach out to him again. Rudy's barbecue sauce in San Antonio is the bomb. So Gary has apparently been to Rudy's in San Antonio, so maybe I just need to head down there. I have a friend that lives down there, and so I could probably make a day of it. But yeah, Rudy's, I can't stay away from that place. If it's in town, I'm headed over there. By default, the 4250 is an auto lag and auto trunk. Boom. There you go. So you don't even need to change that. Just verify that it's on. Oh, come on down. Dual mentions, yes. Yes, and it's been a while since I'm pretty sure I saw you at NAB last year, right? There was a lot of people at the booth, so forgive me. I know I met you in 2019 because once you meet Dom, you don't forget. So he's a good guy to know. Yes, sir. Long Island, New York. Thanks for the plug. Several YouTube videos on both Bird Dog and Netgear. It's true. Yeah, the video guys specifically, and they got a good crew of people over there too. Jim Bask, Glenn, Adam, Oliver. There's Sally Ann is in the warehouse. Just like a really great team, and good people in that company that'll help get you squared away. So if you're in the market for stuff like that, or you just want to learn some more stuff and you want a second opinion, you don't want to hear it from a Bird Dog employee about Bird Dog gear, and you'd rather hear it from somebody who's reviewing the product, check them out. Just like Tom Sinclair, video guys do something similar. So it'd be good to have them as a resource. And of course, they don't just sell our stuff, so they have a broad range of things that they can help you with. That Bulldog 2 times spicy has some kick. It's true. And it's a shame that you weren't around when I was eating that, because when I was eating it, there seemed to be a whole handful of people that thought that, oh, that's nothing. You should come down and eat what I eat. And so I was feeling like I wasn't able to hack it, but apparently it is something. And granted, I don't know if anybody in my office made it through an actual package of this stuff. I know they all participated in some of that over the year, but we ran that program for probably a year, or like 6 months. It was a delicious 6 months. Netgear is completely NDI centric. Along with AV over IP, they do it all, and they do it well. And it's funny because it seems to me, and Dom, I don't know if you feel this way, it seems to me that they are not just doing it once and then it's done, right? Seems to me that they're in this like constant development phase of we can make it better, we can do better. And that comes across. Like I talked to, again, John Hinkle, but I talked to some of the developers at that email address, by the way, proavdesign@netgear.com. And they all had that mentality. Like each time I talked to somebody, that was like, how can we make this better? How can we make sure that this is the answer? And I really think, that's why you buy a Netgear Switch, because they're actually genuinely trying to create the solutions so that it's less for you to worry about. And yeah, that's the real deal. Those are the people that are really going to make a difference. I feel that way about Bird Dog. I feel like the people that work for this company are not just looking at the bottom line or not just looking at the next sale, but they're genuinely interested in making sure that you're happy with the product you have and that it's doing the thing that you need it to do. And if not, we'll walk alongside you and try and help. It's part of the reason why I have this show, because you can come on here and ask me anything. And guys from other companies, guys from the industry, guys that are doing this on a daily basis and producing shows, we all show up. And so if I don't have the answer, one of these guys might. And if none of us do, I'll try and find out for you and let you know. So there you go. NDI 4 and NDI 5 via Netgear is a game changer. Yeah. Having those profiles just there, and then being able to just turn on the DHCP for the VLAN and like off you go. Yeah, it makes a big difference. You can order Rudy's online now. Will they deliver to Michigan? Maybe I should like buy a franchise and open the only Rudy's in Michigan. Ooh, I could probably clean up. Although there is a lot of barbecue in this state. Whether or not it would be considered good, I doubt it. And don't ask Senseless, because he's got family from the south, and he turns his nose up at a lot of the barbecue around here. So he's probably not watching, so I can get away with saying that. Let's see if he chimes in. Nope, I skipped NAB last year. I had oh, that's a bummer. I thought I saw you there. That's really the only place that I had been. So anyways, it's been a while. I got COVID from NAB, so it's probably a good thing you didn't come, because I definitely picked it up somewhere along the way, and I spent a very interesting 5 days in a shady motel in Vegas, off the strip. It's so weird. Oh, it's such a weird story. Hey, so sorry, I live in Texas. Rudy's is meh. I live 1 mile from Pinkerton's, which is a Texas monthly top 5 barbecue joint. See, so here's the deal. When you don't live in Texas, then it's, oh, you don't need to go there. Let me show you real Texas barbecue. It's like, okay, well, chill. I live in Michigan. I live north of Detroit in the country of Michigan. So when I roll into Texas, I have fond memories of Rudy's, and I will go there. I would also not mind touring some of your favorite barbecue joints. So not saying that it's off the plate, but I do like Rudy's. Sorry that you're not. And again, if you have it as at your disposal, maybe I would feel differently about it. If I could go there like on a weekly basis, yeah, I probably would get sick of it. The Bataan boys are good peeps. I deal with them every day. Wheel and deal. Yep. So WPS, which is where Dom works and has worked for quite a while, actually, from what I gather. Yeah, they work with Broadfield directly. So good guys all around, and you can definitely check them out. Dom, you can put, you know what? Maybe I should put your here. Let me. Your WPS Pro AV, right? Right? Let's see. Let's see if I can find you on the website. Yep, there you are. Okay, so Washington Professional Systems is WPSProAV.com. And, this is a Mac. Yoink. So this is where you can find out more about Dom and the company he works for. It's not his website, but it's the company that he works for is right there. So I just started looking at the 10 gig enabled 4250s. I could probably justify 2 of these. There you go. There you go. Absolutely. We get it with John and their engineering folks. We've discussed all sorts of stuff, and they are listening. Yeah, I feel that way. They're like I said, it doesn't seem like it's okay, that feature's done, and now we don't have to think about it, because NDI is growing as well. It's gotten to a place where it's kind of stabilizing and maturing a bit, and so we will see what that looks like for the future in terms of the development of the protocol. But it does seem like Netgear is trying really hard to make sure that it's as good as it can be for everybody. At the end, any managed switch with non-blocking and a good forwarding can be set up for use of NDI. It just needs to adjust flow control, jumbo frames, QoS, and frame size. Yes, as a general statement, I think I would agree with that. I guess the Rudy's brisket will not be as good if you order it online to Sweden. Yeah, it might have lost its luster by the time it makes it to you. Yes, they will deliver. I got it shipped to Maryland. Oh, interesting. I can arrange that. There are about 8 great places within a few miles. Well, Michael, when I'm in town, we can do a tour and see what we can come up with. 25 years with WPS? Oh my goodness! No wonder you're on the website. Your face is up there on the staff listings. What are you? One of the OG guys? I own a 24-port Netgear 4300, which I was using before switching to 4250s. Always wondering if making the AV web UI with AV profiles would be a thing, or even if it's even possible. You mean for the 4300? I don't know, but it's beautiful that it's on the 40. I know that the 4250 and the 4300 work really well together if you're using the 4300 as your backbone. So there's that. I've heard that from Netgear themselves. The 4300 is an amazing switch. You just have to configure it manually as opposed to selecting the profiles on the 4250. It's still an awesome switch. Yes, and like I said, if it's the backbone of your network, it works really well with the 4250s from what I've heard. I don't have one. I wish I kind of did, for all of my spare time. And Jason Lapp. Brisket and Friends in Stockholm, Sweden is my local go-to for barbecue if I'm not doing it myself. Well, the next time I'm in Stockholm, which I've never been, by the way, you and I are going to meet. You're going to properly teach me how to pronounce your name, and then we'll go get some barbecue. How's that sound? I like that idea. I mean, I'll let you cook it yourself if you'd like. If you do it better than they do, then by all means, but probably should just go and get some. Okay, 2 4250s, absolutely. You should justify buying that. I'll send them to you. Hit me up. Dry ice, extra sauce. Boom. Dude, 13 years at another dealer before WPS. Yes. That's good. Love it. You are a committed person. That's admirable. But yes, you do stick with one flavor for a while. Y'all should be should probably go to the Texas Association of Broadcasters in Austin. Ooh. We have a sales guy. CJ's in Texas. Is he? Yeah, I think he's in Austin. Maybe he goes to that. I'll ask him. He's here. Jason Lapp at WPS. Gotcha. Check out that website. Because if you guys want to see Dom, he's on the WPS website under About and then Teams. Whoops. Sorry about that. So, yeah, Dom's on the website. And then, where's Jason? He's got to be here, right? What? He's not on the website. Oh, boy. You got to fix that. Happy to host. Oh, that's so generous. That would be great. It's always nice. Like what I really like about NAB. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and as long as you don't catch COVID, it's a lot of fun. And if you stick around in the industry long enough, that was a different flavor. If you stick around long enough in the industry, then you start to remember people, meet people. And one of the things I really liked about last year was people would come up to the booth and they were like, "Oh, hey, you do the Twitch show." And it was fun to be recognized and put faces to names and get to shake hands. And it's probably where I got COVID, but it was still fun. The 5 days after was not very fun. The best part about that was because I volunteered to go into quarantine for 5 days, because it wasn't mandatory at that point, the federal government paid for all my meals, and they just Uber Eats me like 1 meal a day. Or, I'm sorry, 3 meals a day. And so as long as you answered the door, they would hand you a bag of food. And it was usually really good stuff. Like I had Applebee's one day, Panera one day. They brought me chicken noodle soup like the first day I was in there. I was feeling awful. And it was the greatest meal I'd ever tasted. It's so good. When you're feeling that rotten, yeah, it was great. All right. I love the gear, technology, big toys. He who dies with the most wins, just like guitars. I don't know if that's how it works, man. I'd be curious to know who told you that, because you may have been misinformed. Been working with Jason since he was 17. He's an animated god, in case you didn't know. Yes, I seem to remember that. But we'll be at NAB this year for sure. Awesome. I was in the field that day. Wait, what day? Come over and tour your, quote, home countries. John the Viking. Yes, so you caught on. My last name is Norwegian. And shamefully, I have never gotten over to Norway. Now, to my credit, so that quick history is my great grandfather was Norwegian. He came over and settled in Western Canada. My grandfather was a missionary and went back to Norway and took his kids, my dad, and so they were there for 7 years. So my dad grew up in Norway, learned to ski jump, which is like one of those little nuggets that he tells you about when you're 10 years old. He's like, oh yeah, I used to ski jump. It's like, pardon? He's like, well, not the big ones. It's like, no. You would fly through the air? And he's like, yeah, but like everybody did it back then. It's like, I love how you just pass that off as, anyway. So he lived in Norway, in Oslo, for several years, and then moved back when he was a teenager, and then never went back, and married my mom, and they've never been, which I think is bizarre because you would think you'd want to go. And I hope to go because I want to see Norway. First of all, I think it's gorgeous, but second of all, I got a VR set. It was a Vive, right? HTC Vive, and Google Earth has an app that you can basically go anywhere in the world that they've done a Google Streets view, and you can go like walk down Google Streets in VR, and it is stinking cool. And so I gave it to my dad. And I was like, here. I said, I'm going to put it up on the screen, the TV in the living room so we can see. But you put on the headset and like walk us around Norway. And so he walked us around Google Streets and was telling us about, he's like, oh, look, this building's still here. And this is where I lived. And he's like, oh, look there. He's like, that's the apartment we lived in. It looks exactly the same as it did back then. He's like, now this street wasn't here. And like he started so crazy. And we didn't have to fly all the way over there just to see kind of where he grew up. But he was pretty excited about it. Like he was enjoying himself. I enjoyed that. But I would love to see it for my own eyes. And we currently have a bird dog employee that lives in Norway. He's in Melbourne right now, but he's over there in Norway, so it would be great to see him. He's a really nice guy. When I see him, he reminds me of a true Viking. He's got like the big beard, low voice, not super excited about a whole lot. Looks like he could like decapitate you if he wanted to. That's exactly how it works. So your family landed on Oak Island, maybe? I don't know. I should probably know, but I don't know. Picture day. Oh, yeah. You're talking about WPS? If you think that's cool, you should try GeoGuessr. I'll look that up. Well, thanks for the suggestion. Hey, that's so cool. It is so cool. Matter of fact, my wife and I went on a cruise back in 2019, like moments before COVID became a thing. And we went to these places and just like really liked it, really enjoyed ourselves. But I took an Insta 360 180 camera, and I videotaped a bunch of stuff because my daughter was like 4 and my son was 1 or something like that. So they stayed with grandparents. And when we came back, I rendered all the videos and put them in the headset, and my kids could see the things that we saw. And if you shoot it in 180, it's 3D. And if you shoot it in 360, then it's capturing everything all the time. And the stitching line is not perfect, but it was the first generation of this product, which has gone away, unfortunately. But the 180 3D stuff, you feel like you can like reach out and touch stuff. It's crazy. So I made these videos of our trip to Alaska and then showed my daughter. And then I realized that she's a little young to appreciate this. Well, recently we were like a year ago, we were secretly planning to take the kids on the same cruise, but bring them with us. And that story, I've told that story before, but it's such a fun story. But anyways, we were secretly planning to take them. And so like a few months before, I was like, hey guys, like you should check out these videos again. Like I got them working on my headset. And so they would watch the videos of my wife and I walking around Alaska and got their brains kind of like in that mode, a little exposed to it. And then in the middle of the night, one night, we woke them up and we're like, hey, let's go on a quick trip. Let's go on an adventure. And they were like, what? And so we took them out to the car in their pajamas and drove to the airport and like kind of slowly revealed what was going on. Oh man, it's like one of those things as a parent. It's so much fun. Anyways, and then I took the 360 camera again to capture memories with them in the camera that time. And so now they watch videos of them like playing at the Mendenhall Glacier and doing a bunch of stuff. It was really cool. Random Street View is fun too. Boom. Check that out. It drops you in Street View somewhere around the world and you just have to try and figure out where you are. I would be terrible if that's a game. That would be a terrible game for me. Maybe he's not an NDI berserker. Maybe he is an NDI berserker. Yes, possibly. He's an engineer and his brain is incredible. And but he's a quiet spoken guy. But he's always been super nice to me. I've never felt like he was going to like he wanted to kill me. Thankfully. WPS Cheeseball Picture Day. Did them a year ago. Never had that type of content on our site. Entire site and branding was redesigned because I remember the company colors were like Honolulu blue, right? Or maybe it was just the shirt I saw you in, like blue and black and silver or something. Like the Detroit Lions colors. I've always wanted a 360 camera. Those are definitely harder to justify. Yeah. Especially the really good, nice ones that have like zero stitching issues. Those are crazy expensive. Will there be a Bird Dog Flex Duo with capabilities of encoding and decoding in a single device? Well, I don't know. I haven't heard of that. But it doesn't mean that companies don't come out with pro products. I just don't know. I haven't heard of it. I'm not telling anything that I have heard in secret. I don't know. But it would be a great idea. Like a Flex Pro or something. Fun. Hey, John. We're still waiting for the P200 video. Any ETA? Who posted that? Who dat? Cambiz? P200 video? Oh, crap. What did I promise? I've forgotten. I'm so sorry. Oh, was it the product overview video? The P200? Is that what you're waiting for? Question about that, if that is the answer, if that is what you're asking. Do you want a technical video or do you want a product overview video? Like, because it's funny. We've been talking about this and it's like, do we do technical training or do we do like kind of not promotion, but more like where to use the P200, like situational type of information. Not for selling purposes, but for information base. But me, I'm going to be support heavy because that's my department. And so I'm going to want to spend more time talking about what every button does. And if you click this button, then it does these things to those other options. Whereas there seems to be a real need to do more like, here's the cool features about this product, but not getting into the technical side of it. So anyway, simultaneous encode and decode in one box would be so nice. Well, we've had a journey with that idea. That's for sure. Would you be mad if all we did was put two chips in the same box and just link them out the same NIC card? Because I guess we could do that. Yeah, we have had that. I recall it from the early days of Studio. Yeah, 3.0 firmware. So when 3.0 launched, which is one of the first major releases I was a part of, we had simultaneous encode decode in there. But the problem and the reason why I didn't stay is, first of all, it was a beta. Second of all, the decode kept maxing out and dropping frames, so we couldn't get it to work right. And the end result was we just had to strip it out because it was affecting the decode even when you weren't doing encode and decode. So that was a problem. Not in the slightest. I'd buy that in a heartbeat. How it gets done is far less important than just simply the fact that it gets done. Don't care how the sausage is made, as long as it doesn't poison you after you eat it. Right? Well, it does sound like the sales meeting is now finished. And so those guys are probably going to get ready to go to lunch. And then we're going to have meetings all afternoon. So although I said this was going to be a short show, it still went for an hour and a half. And that's even after we had the 5-minute technical glitch at the beginning. So what can you do? You know, you got to roll with it a little sometimes. If BirdDog makes a rack mount for flex outs, other decoders, that would be awesome. You want like a 1 or a 2U rack mount that will... I've seen somebody that just took a shelf, like a rack shelf, 1U rack shelf, and put a piece of Velcro on the bottom and stuck the flex to it. That's all they did. It's not pretty, but yeah. It all goes in the same frying pan. It's true, and most of it is hidden inside network cabinets, right? So it doesn't necessarily matter what it looks like. Just that it works. It's been fun to hang out. Hey, always, Angus, I appreciate it. Thanks for spending some time with us today. The 4K STI models have a rack shelf. Yeah, there is a rack shelf for the 4K family models, so they can all go in there. No play delivery yet. Oh, well, come back on Tuesday and tell me how it goes. Wow, that is now burning the back of my throat. My goodness. A BirdDog audio device, please. Well, the people that could make that decision are in the office currently, and so I'll mention that. Yeah, I'll mention that. Well, actually, wait till I have my meeting this afternoon, and then I'll mention that. I have no idea what they're going to talk to us about. So, there we go. All right, folks. It's been real. It's been a real delight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate that tremendously. And the fact that you stuck around for more than an hour is shocking in many ways. But like always, we're here twice a week, Tuesday, Thursdays from 11 to 12 at least. And we like to hang out and chat and catch up with you. Also great to have friends from the industry hang out with us too. They'd be happy to give you a hand if you're interested in finding BirdDog products in the U.S. or if you're looking for more information. Be sure you check out WPS. Make sure you check out, Washington Professional Systems. Make sure you check out Video Guys and Broadfield Distributing. Those guys will definitely give you a hand, and we'll be able to sort you out pretty fast. So, yeah, good times, everybody. I am really looking forward to the next time we get to hang out. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Super important. And we'll see you guys early next week. Cheers.
That's pretty neat.